no, this is where I had a grocery store. You
Yep.
remember that?
Oh yeah.
This empty lot right here?
I'm just going to turn here because
Okay.
this was basically the parking lot here, wasn't it? Didn't you come?
This was the grocery store.
Didn't you park right like this?
Yep.
And the store was here, so maybe we can show a picture of that,
Yep.
Hudson. So tell us a little bit about. I don't even know. Am I
You're
supposed
not.
to-
You're not.
I don't
you're
think I can
in-
park this
yeah,
way
you're
anymore.
you're
Not
kind of
quite.
in the
Okay.
right in the intersection there. Of,
This was a garage, and I bought it from the Stadelman company,
Okay.
not company, family,
Uh huh.
and turned it into a grocery store.
Did you built the building,
No, I bought the building from
Was
them.
that a automotive? Was
Yeah.
that a automobile?
Yeah,
thing?
they had a DeSoto Chrysler Plymouth dealership,
Okay.
which two of those are extinct.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all extinct now.
Yeah. And how big was the store? Do you remember how many square feet it was? Or
Yeah, it was 104 feet long and 42 feet wide.
okay.
So in those days they called that a supermarket, but that changed.
As opposed to like a general store or a smaller like.
I featured groceries.
Okay.
You know, when my dad was in business, they had a bin for salt, sugar, and flour, and that
Yeah.
was about it.
Yeah.
Here we had 35 cake mixes.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Right.
So it evolved the industry.
Yeah.
So I involved with it.
Your dad had a confectionery store there on the corner, and we can
Yeah.
go back and look at some of the other places.
Okay,
But
one to the store just the other side of that,
okay.
he had a confectionery store, and he was the first person to make ice cream
Hmm.
in the summer
Oh.
by having ice from the Lake Marion
hmm.
and putting salt on it to get
Keep
it to
it.
freeze
Okay.
to make ice cream.
Really.
So
So everybody else had ice cream in the fall and winter because that's the only time you had ice,
Yeah.
right? But he was able to do that. That must have been quite a treat for
Yeah.
all the people.
yeah, it's kind of innovative.
Yeah. Did you said he had 3 barrels there? Is that all he sold, or did he sell some other things in the store?
Oh, there were the confectionery was almost what you'd call a general store.
Yeah. Okay.
But it had a large area for a counter where they had ice cream and the things which you squirted in to
Mm-hmm.
make the stuff, and then it had a little restaurant,
Okay.
mini restaurant,
Okay.
a kitchen, and then there were 12 booths in the back.
There were where people could come and sit and
Yeah.
eat and be served.
Yeah.
So that's B style, Dad. Now, that's the
Yeah.
building.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The corner
Yeah.
corner store.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's go back there in just a second and talk a little bit more about that, because like I said, John, I wouldn't mind if you're willing. We can either do it in this road trip or we can take another one. But tell us a little bit more about the store here, Traeger's Supermarket. Do you
Okay.
remember what year that you turned that into a supermarket, or that store, refurbished it and stuff?
I want to say 1958, but I'm not sure
Okay.
that's right.
Okay. And life was different because a lot of mothers didn't work outside of the home. A lot
Yeah.
of people worked locally. They didn't drive to Madison, and so there were you the only grocery store in 1958?
7.
7
people
grocery
sold-
stores.
7 people sold groceries.
Okay.
And you refer to them as grocery stores, but I would refer to them as people who sold groceries.
People. Okay.
Bollig's up on the highway.
Yeah. Okay.
And then on the corner there was Mike Zangle, who was a jeweler but sold groceries. And then Carey's had IGA.
Oh. Okay.
And so there were Onsteads. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
of them. I wasn't alive then, but
So anyway, when I sold, I was the only one when I sold the store.
I was going to ask if the rest of those people were put out of business because yours was a supermarket. I mean,
Well-
yours was, you ran it like a business, and you didn't have any other interests. It was a grocery store, right?
Period. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I didn't
Got somebody, I think,
like
trying
putting
to.
them out of business.
maybe not.
That was my function.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah, but it happened.
yeah. Now the people who bought this,
Yeah,
I didn't like them
yeah,
because they weren't good to my health.
yeah, right. And so that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you had, like, Kevin Steiner is right on the verge of retiring from
I
Miller's.
just talked to him the other day.
Yeah, and he's worked for them for many, many decades, but he worked for you in high school, and
Yep.
then
Then
for a while,
after.
did he manage the store a little bit
Here,
then for
yep,
you?
yep. Great kid.
And he gave him his start
Yep,
in grocery.
Yeah.
And Mark Handel,
yep,
okay, and Mark's retired, but he worked down here
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, a lot of people went on to better things, which I had my blessing,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. And what I remember, when you would come into the store, you had the checkout lanes right there. How many checkout lanes were there? Two or
Two.
three? Two. Okay. And then I think to the left there was there an office
Yeah.
there, and your mother would sit there sometimes and
Selling bus tickets.
selling bus tickets, because
Yeah.
she was the one that got Greyhound bus to come down to Mazo. Is that right, for a stop?
No, I think that was before.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Well, I don't think she was the person instrumental in that.
Okay.
But she loved the Greyhound.
Okay. And she would sell tickets right out of the office there.
Well, and then I don't know if it's in the book or in the pamphlet, but when Ellen was taking a bus from wherever she was to Mazo and Cross Plains, the lady next to her said, "No, there's a little old lady, a weird lady, is going to get on, sell tickets here in a little bit."
Weirdly, that's my grandmother. She said. So what else? Anything else about your store? Any interesting things that come to mind?
Well, you mentioned, this is a real quickie, it doesn't have anything to do with anything, but you said that little office?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dick Dykeman, you remember him?
I don't.
Farmer's neighbor, the city folks' friend, the Ford dealer.
Oh, I remember the saying, but I don't
All
remember
right.
him.
Well,
Okay.
anyway, I don't know what he was doing. We were sort of friends. We were sitting in the office there talking, and a fella broke in. He said, "Where can I find Henry Taylor?" So I was a little upset about just breaking in like that, but I'll be courteous. So I said, "Which way did you come?" He says, "Around that." I said, "Well, you go back to the flagpole." And then I said, "Turn that way and cross the railroad tracks, go up the hill. When you get to the highway, you go out of town about a half a mile, go down a little hill." He's writing all this down. And then I said, "You make the first turn to the left, and you go in about 3/4 of a block," writing it down. And then I said, "You go in about by where that big oak tree is there," and then I said, "You go down 6 feet."
Was that the cemetery? Is that what you
Yeah.
know? That's where Henry Taylor was?
That's where Henry Taylor was.
He was looking for somebody.
I was a little quicker in my mind.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Huh. And so, yeah, I remember well, Traeger's grocery store. I was born in 1960. Traeger's grocery store, in my mind, there was only one grocery store in Mazo.
Yeah.
It was Traeger's grocery store. Now, maybe there were others at that
Well,
point. but
Ballin still sold.
yeah,
groceries.
that's right. We did once in a while go there. I probably shouldn't tell you that, but
And they had everything, too.
yeah, they did. Yep, stuffed into a little place. Yep, yeah. It's interesting, John, when you think about the fact that they had an automobile store here in Mazo. An automobile. Two of them here.
Yeah. This
Okay.
was the Chrysler one.
Okay.
And then where the first apartment I built was,
Oh.
That was a Ford store.
Okay. Okay, so let's go down to downtown Mazo, and let's do
Okay.
this. Let's first.
Got about 30 minutes left.
Okay, let's first talk. I think what we're gonna do, John, is we're gonna impose on you, and you're old enough, and you can just say, nope, we're not gonna do another one of these. But I have two things that I wouldn't mind talking to you about if you're willing to try this again sometime, and that is just landmarks that either have changed or different things like that. And there's some other places around Mazo that I wouldn't mind having you tell me a little bit about what it looked like back in the day, because things have
I'd
changed.
be more than happy to do that.
Okay. So what we'll do is let's do this.
You can go right around here if you
Okay,
want.
let's do this. Let's take him to the places over the next 20 minutes here, because that'll give us an hour and a half. And then we can come back and we can go through a tour of Mazo itself, and he can tell us about what was in different places.
Sure.
And so let's do this, John, if we can, if you're okay with this. Let's look at least a few of the buildings that you owned and what
Okay.
you did with those, and then
Owned or occupied, or both?
let's start with owned and occupied, both.
Okay.
And if we run out of time for this episode, we'll come back and we'll pick up where we left off.
Okay.
It'll be to be continued. People will they'll be on the edge of their seat. So you want to go here first?
Well, yeah. Now, again, my dad was in there. I was in there in three different. I had office furniture store there, but before that we had the village store.
The village store was here. I thought it was down there.
It
Okay.
was started out down there, but ended up up here.
It did. Okay.
And you know the history of the village store?
I don't.
Okay. John Schwartz,
Okay.
when he went out of business, four of us got together and thought we could maybe start what we call the village store.
Okay.
That was Norm Shaneman, Dick Shaneman, Bill Kennedy, and me.
Keep talking. I'm going to get out of the road here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Anyway, and we hired Betty Murphy
Yep. Sure.
as,
I'm going to just park right here and you can talk.
yep.
We have a traffic jam in downtown Mason.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened for years.
Okay, the manager was Betty,
Yep.
and we put it together. We were in that building first.
Where the base camp is.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh, and that lady parks where there's no parking always.
Yep. Yep.
You know her?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
So we're down to the village store.
and then we ended up down here.
You did. Okay.
Yeah. Our mission with her was to, at any point, to buy us out.
Oh, okay.
Our game was never to own it.
Okay.
It was to get it to fly.
Okay.
And it did, and she owned it for a lot of years and did a lot of. She had one fatal thing. In the clothing industry, you buy a dozen or something, and towards the end, you try to get rid of
Yeah.
the stuff. She
Yeah.
never did.
Okay.
She just kept it forever.
Okay. So
And that was one of her demises, but she did a good job over the years, and very good person in the community.
yeah. So that started there,
Yep.
and then you moved down to the corner where B Style is right now,
Right.
and that was there for a while. And then, did you own that building?
No,
You never owned that
no,
building.
that building was owned by the Masonic Lodge.
Okay.
And the Masonic Lodge rented that to my dad,
Mm.
to my mother,
Mm.
and then to me, in the village store, and then back to me.
Okay. Huh.
So many people thought I
Owned it. Yeah. And so that building there on the end where B Style Floral is now was GPF
Yep,
Office Supply.
yep. I was in that building at one time too,
You were.
and we were in a building down there too. I
Okay.
had like 5 buildings here at one time.
All at the same time, or just
Yeah,
moving
no,
around?
all at the same. Kept buying stuff, and mostly office furniture, but then other stuff too.
Huh. All right. So like I said, John, we will come back at another time and have you just kind of talk us through what all the buildings have been, and a lot of them have been your buildings. So what was, you want to go left here?
Yeah,
Or-
I think so.
Okay.
Now that was a grocery store here in
It
the
was,
corner, and a
okay.
butcher store up next door,
Okay. All right.
and the post office.
All right, we'll pull in here. Yeah, this was news to me just a week ago when I read part of your book that you still own this.
Yeah,
You own the post office?
yeah.
Really?
I'll tell you a funny story.
How do you do
about-
that?
You own a road and a post office. I didn't know you could do that. What's the difference between as we get you back home here, and we'll?
Do you bought that building or not?
I think what we'll do is we're going to tease them,
Okay.
and we'll come on another road trip because we're almost out of battery.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to miss anything. I don't want her to back up there. But now, we'll just say this, Hudson. These are John's apartments here.
These are the Waltra
Yeah,
apartments,
Walter
correct? You were
apartments,
talking
and-
about.
and we'll talk about those the next time
Timmy
we go on
Fry.
a road trip with John, if we can coax him back in the truck with us. But tell me, what was I going to say to you? I was going to ask you another question. Oh, what is the difference as we head home here? What is the difference between your book and the pamphlet? What's the difference? Are they the same?
A lot of the things that I forgot or remembered,
Okay.
or it has to deal with interesting people I know.
Okay.
A lot of different reflections on things.
Okay.
And it's an ongoing process. It doesn't amount to a pinch of shit, and I use that verbally.
Okay.
What it is, it's my mental exercise.
Okay.
And as things come into mind or what have you,
Okay.
and I got a series of jokes
Okay.
that are G-rated, they're in the main pamphlet,
Okay.
and then I've got another section of R to XXX jokes that aren't.
That aren't in the G section. Okay. Or that aren't in the pamphlet. Or
Yeah,
are
It's a different
They're in
section.
a separate G,
I see.
a separate pamphlet,
section.
not
Okay.
suitable for all audiences.
Okay. And and then your and is that pamphlet going to be released like your book?
Like to some people who, if you'd be interested in getting one, I'm sure. And I don't know if it'll be an ongoing thing whenever I get done.
Yeah.
It, as I said, it doesn't amount to anything. It's
Yeah.
my
Just
views on particular things
mental meanderings. Huh?
that necessarily, like my views on student loans.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I go way back with the origin of the student loan,
Mm-hmm.
that it required that a banker, one of the things a banker should initiate them, because they know that the degree in mechanical engineering has more value
Mm-hmm.
than a degree in basket weaving.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Exactly.
So anyway, there's a lot of things in there that just are my viewpoint on something at
Yeah.
a particular time.
Yeah. Well,
Doesn't mean it.
Well, that should be worth something because of
worth
your
anything to
time.
anybody.
Well, I think it might be, and because there's a lot of good horse sense and wisdom there, and I remember your last little chapter. It almost seems like of your book, that pamphlet will be almost a continuation of that last little miscellaneous thing.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
because it's kind of meanderings of just lots of different things, politics and life and
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
yeah, exactly.
So John, I want to thank you for taking a lot of time here to
Oh,
spend
I'm
with us.
so blessed to have you be interested enough in me to do it.
Yeah, and so what we'll do is we'll get this put together a little bit, and then You won't offend us if you say that was enough. But if
No.
you're willing to, I'd like to talk about your apartments, some of the other things, and then I'd like to kind of go through and talk about some landmarks, and we can maybe take another hour and go for a little ride. And just I think it's just good to have a little bit of a person that's been so integrated in mazo to have a little historical background, because people are very interested in that. And
Yeah.
I think it's fun for our generation and future generations to hear these
Okay,
things.
no, I'd be more than happy to do it.
Okay.
More than happy.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
One of the things that people aren't aware of is we're blessed with 5 good, substantial industries.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if people are aware of that wonderful benefit.
No.
Gary Harrop was responsible for
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's so many little things like that
Yeah.
that I would just like to have an opportunity to bring them to light.
Yeah.
So,
Well, as we do the next one, then we can just talk about those things, and you can just talk about those, and we can talk about the businesses, some of the other places that you built and owned and rented, and then
all
we
right,
can-
whatever, I'm more than happy to do.
Okay. Well, I've got your number now, so do you need me to kind of guide you out of here?
No,
You sure you can get out?
yeah,
Fine.
I can get out.
I don't want.
Gravity's in my favor.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate it, John.
Good to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
I'll open this up for you.